The sun was a merciless fist pounding down on the cracked asphalt of Interstate 10, turning the Arizona desert into a furnace that swallowed screams for help whole. My engine had coughed its last breath 20 miles from nowhere, leaving me, Elena Harper, 28 years old and utterly adrift, stranded with nothing but a half-empty water bottle and the ghosts of a life I was fleeing back in Chicago. As the horizon blurred into heat waves, I spotted a dust cloud rising like a promise, a red pickup truck barreling toward me, its driver a silhouette of Stetson hat, an unyielding grace that would rewrite every broken piece of my soul. I wiped sweat from my brow, my white blouse clinging like a second skin, and waved my arms wildly, praying this wasn't some mirage born of dehydration. The truck slowed, gravel crunching under its tires, and pulled up beside my stalled sedan. The door swung open with a creak that echoed my fraying nerves, and out stepped Riley Kane, a woman whose very presence felt like rain on parched earth. At 32, she carried the desert in her veins, sun-freckled cheeks, short chestnut waves peeking from under her hat, and blue eyes sharp as coyote calls, softened only by the faint scar tracing her jawline from some long-ago rodeo spill. Her denim shirt hugged her athletic frame, sleeves rolled to elbows revealing toned forearms dusted with fine hair, and her boots hit the ground with the authority of someone who'd tamed wilder things than this stretch of highway. "You look like you could use a hand," she said, her voice a low drawl laced with Midwestern warmth, tipping her hat back to reveal a crooked smile that hit me like a shot of whiskey, warm, unexpected, dangerous. I stammered something about the radiator blowing, my heart hammering not just from the heat but from the way her gaze lingered, appraising, not judging. She popped the hood of my car with practiced ease, her hands calloused and sure, grease already smearing her fingers as she cursed under her breath at the mangled hoses. "Ain't fixable out here, darlin', but my ranch is just 10 miles east. I can tow you in, get you cooled off. Name's Riley." "Elena," I managed, my voice cracking like the desert floor. As she hooked up the tow chain, our hands brushed, electric, fleeting, and I felt seen for the first time in months, since Sarah's lies had shattered me, leaving me to pack a bag and drive west toward some vague redemption. Riley climbed back into her truck, motioning for me to join her in the cab, and as we rumbled away, the dying sun painted her profile in gold, whispering that this breakdown might be the luckiest curse I'd ever stumbled into. The cab smelled of leather, sage, and faint engine oil, a scent that wrapped around me like an old quilt, chasing away the sterile chill of my old life. Riley kept the radio low, some twangy ballad about lost loves and open roads filling the silences between us. "Headed where?" she asked, glancing sideways, her eyes crinkling at the corners in a way that made my stomach flip. "Anywhere but here," I admitted, staring out at the saguaros standing sentinel like ancient guardians. "Chicago's complicated, needed to breathe." She nodded, as if she knew the weight of unspoken heartbreaks, her fingers tapping the wheel in rhythm. We didn't talk much after that, but the quiet wasn't empty. It hummed with possibility, the kind that simmers before a storm. Her ranch appeared like a mirage made real, a weathered adobe house nestled against red rock cliffs, corrals dotted with horses that nickered at our approach, and a barn that looked like it had stories etched into every beam. She killed the engine, the sudden stillness amplifying the distant whinny of a mare. "Home sweet Dust Bowl," she quipped, hopping down to unhook the chain. I followed, my legs shaky from the heat, and she steadied me with a hand on my elbow, firm, gentle, igniting sparks I had no right to feel so soon. Inside, the kitchen was a haven of cool tile and cast-iron skillet, the air scented with cooling coffee. Riley poured me a glass of iced tea, condensation beating like tears on the glass, and slid it across the scarred oak table. "Drink up. Dehydration's a sneaky bastard out here." I sipped, the tart lemon cutting through my haze, and watched her move, graceful despite her height, 5 feet 10 inches to my 5 feet 6 inches, her body a testament to hard labor and hidden vulnerabilities. She leaned against the counter, arms crossed, mirroring my earlier stance by the car. "So, Elena, what's the real story? Folks don't break down in the middle of nowhere without carrying a load." The question hung heavy, pulling at the threads I'd knotted tight. Sarah's face flashed, her laughter turning venomous, the bruises hidden under sleeves, the final shove that sent me running. "Bad breakup," I said finally, voice barely above a whisper. "The kind that makes you question if love's just a pretty lie." Riley's expression softened, a shadow crossing her features, and she pushed off the counter, grabbing a rag to wipe her hands. "Love's never a lie," she murmured, close enough now that I caught the faint scent of her soap. Lavender. Wild and unapologetic. "It's the people who wield it like a weapon that twist it ugly." Her words landed like balm, and before I could respond, thunder rumbled distant, the sky darkening as if the desert itself wept for us both. Rain came sudden and fierce, lashing the windows, trapping us in this bubble of adobe and unspoken truths. That night, after she'd called a mechanic in Tucson, parts wouldn't arrive till morning. I crashed in her guest room, the bed soft with quilts stitched by hands long gone. Sleep evaded me, my mind replaying the brush of her touch, the way her laugh lines deepened when she teased me about my city girl sneakers caked in sand. Down the hall, I heard her pacing, boots soft on the floorboards, and wondered what demons kept her awake in this vast, lonely expanse. Morning broke with a rooster's crow and the aroma of bacon sizzling, pulling me toward the kitchen like a siren's call. Riley was at the stove, flipping strips with a spatula, her hair tousled from sleep, shirt untucked in a way that made her seem younger, more approachable. "Mornin', stranger," she greeted, plating eggs with a flourish. "Figured you'd need fuel before we face the day." We ate on the porch, the desert air crisp after the storm, steam rising from the earth like prayers ascending. Conversation flowed easier now, her tales of rodeos won and lost, the ranch inherited from a father who taught her to rope before she could read, the mother who'd left when she was 12, chasing city lights that never quite lit her way. "Been solo ever since," she said, gaze fixed on the horizon. "Horses don't break your heart." I shared fragments of my own mosaic, the graphic design job that paid bills but starved my soul, the women who'd come and gone like seasons, intense, fleeting, until Sarah, who promised forever but delivered chains. "I thought love meant enduring the pain," I confessed, fork paused midair. "But maybe it's about finding someone who makes the joy outweigh it." Riley's eyes met mine, holding steady, a current pulling us under. "Maybe," she echoed, her voice husky. "Or maybe it's about two souls recognizing the map to each other's wild places." The words hung, charged, and when her boot nudged mine under the table, not accidental, but testing, I didn't pull away. Instead, I let the contact linger, a silent vow, in the morning light. The mechanic arrived by noon, a grizzled local named Hank who tinkered with my car under Riley's watchful eye. I hovered nearby, pretending to help but mostly stealing glances at her, the way sweat beaded on her collarbone, how she bantered with Hank like old comrades. By late afternoon, the engine purred back to life, but the thought of driving away twisted like a knife in my gut. "You don't have to go," Riley said quietly as Hank packed up, her hand on the hood inches from mine. "Road's always open coming back." I hesitated, keys biting into my palm. Chicago waited with its concrete cage, but here, in the shadow of red rocks, something bloomed, fragile, fierce. What if I stayed? Just for a bit? The question slipped out, vulnerable as a fawn's first step. Her smile was slow, radiant. "I'd like that, Elena. More than you know." And as the sun dipped low, casting long shadows over the corral, I handed her the keys, not to my car, but to the locked rooms of my heart, trusting this cowgirl to lead me home. Days blurred into a rhythm as natural as the desert wind, mornings saddling horses with Riley's patient guidance, my city-soft hands learning the bite of reins. Afternoons sketching the landscape on napkins, her posing unwittingly against canyon walls, her form a study in strength and subtle curves. Evenings by the fire pit, stars wheeling overhead like scattered diamonds, sharing stories that peeled back layers, hers of quiet loves hidden in barnyard glances, mine of stolen kisses in rain-slicked alleys. One dusk, as we brushed down the horses after a trail ride, her hand grazed my waist while adjusting my stirrup, and time stuttered. "You're a natural," she murmured, breath warm against my ear, her body heat a contrast to the cooling air. I turned, our faces inches apart, lips parting on instinct. The kiss was tentative at first, soft, exploratory, tasting of salt and sage, then deepening with the hunger of two women who'd waited lifetimes for this spark. Riley pulled back first, eyes dark with want and wariness. "Elena, this ranch, it's my anchor. But you're a storm I didn't see coming." I cupped her cheek, thumb tracing that scar, feeling the pulse beneath. "Then let me be your rain. Not to wash you away, but to make things grow." We tumbled into it then, laughter mingling with sighs, bodies entwining on a blanket under the Milky Way, her touch reverent, mapping me like sacred ground. In her arms, I found not just release, but reclamation, a love that healed the fractures Sarah had left. But paradise has thorns. A week in, my phone buzzed back to life with service restored. Voicemails from Sarah, venomous pleas laced with threats. "You think you can run? I'll find you, drag you back where you belong." Panic clawed at me, visions of her rage-fueled pursuits, the restraining order I'd never filed. Riley found me trembling on the porch, phone shattered at my feet. "Talk to me," she urged, drawing me close, her embrace a fortress. The words poured out, the control, the isolation, the nights I'd convinced myself it was passion, not poison. Riley listened without interruption, her jaw set like flint. "She don't get to define you anymore," she said fiercely, wiping my tears with callous thumbs. "You're free here, with me. But if she comes, we face her together." Her protectiveness stirred something primal in me, a trust I'd long forsaken. Yet doubt crept in like coyotes at dawn. Riley's world was raw, rooted, family ties to the land, whispers from town folk about the lone cowgirl who'd never settled. Mine was transient, a suitcase soul. Late one night, after a storm rattled the shutters, I confessed over whiskey by the hearth. "What if I'm just a detour for you? A city girl passing through, leaving dust in my wake?" She set her glass down, firelight dancing in her eyes. "Darlin', you're the road I want to travel, not the fork that ends it." She kissed me then, slow and sure, hands framing my face as if I were porcelain and wildfire both. "I've loved quiet here, but with you, it's alive, loud, messy real." We made love by the flames, her body arching under mine, gasps echoing like thunder, each caress a promise etched in skin. Word spread, as a dozen small towns like Bisbee, 20 miles down the road. Hank's offhand comment at the feed store, "That pretty designer stickin' around Kane's place?" ignited gossip that reached Riley's brother, Jake, a burly ranch hand with a heart as wide as his suspicions narrow. He rolled up one afternoon in his dusty Ford, face thunderous, cornering us in the barn where hay motes danced in sunbeams. "Riley, what the hell? Ma's rollin' in her grave seein' you shacked up with some tourist chick." His eyes flicked to me, accusatory, as if I were the serpent in their Eden. Riley stepped forward, chin lifted, her hand finding mine in solidarity. "Jake, Elena's no tourist. She's stayin'. And our ma taught us love, not judgment. You got a problem with who warms my bed, that's on you." The air crackled, Jake's fists clenching, memories of their pa's old-school rants surfacing like ghosts. "Folks talk sis. This ain't Chicago. It's Arizona. You want to be the town freak?" The word landed like a lash, and I flinched, old wounds reopening. But Riley didn't waver. Better a freak with a full heart than a saint with an empty one. Get out if you can't handle it. Jake stormed off, tires spinning gravel, leaving a rift that echoed in the sudden silence. That evening, as we mended fences, literal and figurative, Riley broke, voice cracking over shared coffee. You don't mean it, not deep down. But losing family, it guts me. I pulled her head to my shoulder, stroking her hair, the vulnerability cracking her armor wide. Then we build our own, I whispered. You, me, this land, unbreakable. Healing came slow, in stolen moments. Jake's grudging apology over barbecue, a nod my way that spoke volumes, town whispers fading as I pitched designs for local shops, weaving my art into their fabric. But Sarah's shadow loomed larger, her texts escalating to coordinates. I know where you are, traitor. Paranoia gripped me. Nights spent staring at the ceiling, Riley's arm heavy across my waist to anchor against the tide. The breaking point came under a full moon, silver washing the desert in ethereal glow. Headlights pierced the dark, a rental car screeching to halt outside the gate. Sarah, disheveled, eyes wild with obsession. She pounded on the door, voice shrill. Elena, you owe me. Come out, you coward. I froze in Riley's arms, terror icing my veins, but she rose like a lioness, shotgun in hand, not loaded, but a statement. Stay here, she commanded, but I followed, heart pounding. On the porch, Sarah lunged, nails raking air, spewing litanies of possession. She's mine. You stole her. Riley blocked her path, voice steel. Love ain't theft, lady. It's choice. And she chose freedom. The standoff stretched, taut as a bowstring, until distant sirens wailed, Jake, alerted by a neighbor, calling the law. Sarah crumpled, sobs racking her as deputies cuffed her, the desert swallowing her curses. In the aftermath, dawn breaking soft and forgiving, Riley and I stood amid the corral, horses milling like witnesses. You saved me. I breathed, tears salting my lips. She turned, cupping my face, her kiss fierce with survival's afterglow. We saved each other, love. That's the truth of it. Months wove us tighter. My designs blooming in Bisbee galleries, Riley's ranch thriving with my city's smarts on marketing, Jake thawing into an unlikely uncle figure, toasting our quiet commitment ceremony under the stars, rings exchanged simple as the land, silver bands etched with saguaro spines. No grand gestures, just vows whispered on windswept plains, to weather storms, to choose joy over chains, to love without apology. Looking back, that breakdown wasn't ruin, it was revelation. In the heart of America's wildest nowhere, a cowgirl didn't just pull over, she pulled me from the wreckage, mending a life I'd thought irreparable. And in her eyes, I saw my own reflection. Whole, wanted, eternal. Love, it turns out, isn't found in grand escapes, but in the dusty detours where two hearts collide and choose to stay. The ceremony lingered in the air like the scent of mesquite smoke, even as autumn's chill nipped at the desert's edges. Riley and I had said our pieces under that star-strewn sky, Jake officiating with a gruff tenderness that masked his earlier doubts. A handful of locals gathered, round with thermoses of spiked cider. No priest, no pomp, just us, the land, and the quiet certainty that we'd carved out something sacred from the scars. As the last embers died, Riley drew me aside to the old oak by the creek, its branches gnarled like wise old bones. Mrs. Kane Harper, she teased, her fingers interlacing mine, the new rings cool against our skin. Sounds like poetry, don't it? I laughed, the sound free and full, pulling her close until our foreheads touched. Better than poetry. It's us. Her lips found mine, soft at first, then insistent, the kiss tasting of commitment and the faint tang of whiskey on her breath. We swayed there, wrapped in each other's warmth, the night folding around us like a blessing. But even in that perfection, shadows lingered. Not Sarah's, Long carted off to face charges back east, but the subtler ones, the ache of what we'd both lost, the fear that joy this pure might shatter like cheap glass. Back inside, the house felt different. Ours, truly, with my sketches pinned to walls beside Riley's faded rodeo ribbons, a blending of worlds as seamless as our tangled sheets. Sleep came easy that night, her body curled against mine, steady breaths syncing with my own. Yet dreams tugged at me, visions of endless highways, cars overheating, hands reaching but never quite grasping. I woke to dawn's first light filtering through curtains I'd sewn from thrift store denim, Riley already stirring coffee in the kitchen, humming an old Patsy Cline tune that twisted my heartstrings. "Mornin', beautiful," she called, turning with a mug in hand, steam curling like lazy spirits. Her hair was sleep mussed, shirt hanging loose off one shoulder, revealing the curve of her collarbone I loved to trace with lazy fingers. I patted over, accepting the coffee with a kiss that deepened before we could think better. "Jake's comin' by later with a vet for the mare's checkup. You want to ride out with us? Show off that fancy seat you've been working on." The invitation warmed me more than the brew, a nod to how far I'd come from the wide-eyed city girl who'd nearly toppled off her first mount. "Wouldn't miss it," I replied, leaning into her side as we watched the sun crest the cliffs, painting the yard in strokes of rose and gold. These moments, the mundane made magic, were the glue holding us, reminders that love wasn't fireworks, but the steady burn of hearth fires. The vet visit unfolded predictably chaotic. The mare, a spirited chestnut named Ember, fidgeted under examination, Jake wrestling her lead while Riley held her flank, muscles flexing under her flannel. I handed tools, feeling useful. Part of the pulse here. Dr. Lena, a sharp-witted woman in her 40s with a no-nonsense bob and the kindest eyes, winked at me as she packed up. "You two are good for this place. Brings life to the dust." Her words landed light, but they stirred something proud in my chest, a validation I'd craved without naming. After, Jake lingered, scuffing his boot in the dirt, avoiding our eyes.
"Listen, Rainer."
About before. I was an ass. Riley's family, hell, your family now. If that witch ever shows her face again. He trailed off, jaw tight, but the offer hung sincere. I clapped his shoulder, the gesture bridging the gap. "Water under the corral, Jake. We're good." He grunted approval, pulling Riley into a bear hug that left her laughing, breathless. Alone again that afternoon, we escaped to the upper pasture, a hidden meadow where wildflowers defied the season's end. Riley spread a blanket, unpacking a picnic of cheese, crusty bread, and the tart green apples from her tree. We fed each other bites, juice dripping chinward, kisses chasing the sweetness. "Tell me something new," she prompted, head in my lap, my fingers combing through her waves. "A dream you ain't shared." I hesitated, the old instinct to guard my depths flaring, but her gaze, open, inviting, coaxed it free. "Always wanted a studio here, proper one. Walls lined with canvases, light pouring in, designing not just logos but stories, like ours, captured in lines and color." She sat up, eyes alight. "Then build it. That shed by the barn. Empty since Pa's tools rusted out. Yours if you want it." The generosity undid me, tears pricking as I kissed her fiercely. "What did I do to deserve you?" A rhetorical, but she answered anyway, voice low and fervent. "You showed up, broken but brave. That's enough." We made love there in the grass, slow and unhurried, her hands worshipping every curve, my name a prayer on her lips. Afterward, tangled and sated, we watched clouds drift, shapes forming futures we dared to claim. Winter crept in stealthy, frosting the mornings with rare white, turning the ranch into a wonderland of crunch underboot. I dove into the studio, hammering shelves with Jake's reluctant tutelage, the space transforming into a sanctuary of easels and ink. Riley surprised me one frosty eve with a sign she'd carved, Elena's atelier hung crooked but perfect above the door. "For the artist who paints my world pretty," she said, cheeks flushed from cold or emotion. My first exhibit came small, a pop-up in Bisbee's old Minturn gallery, locals milling with curiosity. Riley stood sentinel by my side, hat in hand, pride radiating as murmurs turned to praise. An older woman, silver-haired and sharp-dressed, bought my piece of us, two silhouettes against sunset, hands entwined. "Captures the soul of this place," she said, pressing her card into my palm. A gallery owner from Tucson, hinting at more. Elation bubbled that night, champagne fizzing as we danced in the kitchen, Riley's two-step leading me clumsy but joyful. To empires built on love, I toasted, clinking glasses. But mid-swirl, pain lanced her face, a wince she tried to hide, hand pressing her side. "Nothin'," she brushed off, but worry gnawed. The next day, she confessed over breakfast, twinges from an old injury, ribs cracked in a fall years back, flaring with the cold. "Doc says rest," she grumbled, but I saw the fear. The ranch didn't pause for weakness. I took charge, insisting on lighter chores, massaging knotted muscles by firelight, my touch turning tender, exploratory. "Let me care for you," I whispered, lips brushing her ear. She yielded, vulnerability cracking her shell, our intimacy shifting to something deeper. Not just passion, but partnership, healing hands mending more than flesh. Spring thawed the doubts, green shoots pushing through soil as stubbornly as our resolve. Jake brought news over Easter brunch, a developer sniffing around neighboring land, talk of condos swallowing the wild. "They'll pave paradise," he spat, fork stabbing pie. Riley's face hardened, the fighter emerging. "Not on our watch. We rally the neighbors, show, and what this valley means." The fight ignited us. Petitions circulated, town halls packed with voices, mine included, sketching maps of heritage sites to bolster our case. Riley led charges, her charisma rallying holdouts, while I handled media, my designs turning data into compelling visuals. Late nights blurred into strategy sessions, exhaustion fueling stolen kisses in the war room of our kitchen. "We're unstoppable," she'd murmur, head on my shoulder, and I'd believe it, our bond the unyielding root. Victory came narrow, the council voting down the proposal amid cheers that echoed off canyon walls. We celebrated wild, bonfire roaring, fiddles wailing, bodies pressed in ecstatic dance. Under the moon, Riley pulled me aside, eyes shining. "You brought the fight to us, Elena. Changed everything." Her kiss was victory incarnate, hands roaming with triumphant hunger, leading me to the blanket where we'd first surrendered. Summer scorched back, heat waves testing resolve, but we'd grown roots deep. A letter arrived from Chicago, an apology from Sarah's lawyer, settlement papers closing that chapter clean. I burned it in the fire pit, ashes scattering on wind, Riley's arms my sanctuary. "Past's dust now," she said, and we toasted to horizons ahead. Yet life layered complexities, emberfold occult, tiny and wobbly, demanding midnight vigils. My Tucson show loomed, nerves fraying threads. Riley soothed with baths drawn steaming, her soaks turning sensual, fingers tracing suds over skin. "Shine for them," she encouraged, "but come home to me." The opening dazzled, sales acclaim, but the drive back, stars guiding, felt like returning to breath. Fall circled again, anniversaries stacking like cordwood. We adopted a stray mutt, naming her Sage for her wise eyes, planted a garden, my green thumb faltering comically under Riley's expert eye. Laughter filled the house, echoing voids once there. Jake proposed a family ride on Thanksgiving, trails golden with turning leaves, gratitude swelling as we crested the ridge, valley sprawling like a gift. Winter's hush brought introspection, letters to my estranged sister, bridges tentatively mended, Riley opening up about her mother's ghost, forgiveness a quiet release. New Year's dawned with resolutions whispered at midnight. More travels, perhaps, blending our worlds without losing them. Through it all, our love evolved. Mornings of lazy coffee and lingering touches, storms weathered huddled close, joys amplified in shared glances. The desert, once my breaking point, became crucible and cradle, forging us unbreakable. One evening, as twilight bled purple across the sky, Riley knelt by the creek, a small box in hand. Not rings again, but seeds, rare wildflowers said to bloom only in adversity. For our next chapter, she said, pressing them into my palm. Together, we'll make beauty from the hard places. I kissed her, tears mingling with smiles, knowing this, us, was the truest salvation. As the wildflower seeds took root in our garden, stubborn green spikes defying the late frosts, so did the subtle shifts in our rhythm, whispers of change rustling like aspen leaves. My Tucson success had opened doors, invitations to design for ecotourism outfits, proposals that pulled me towards city edges more often than the ranch could spare. Riley waved me off each trip with a kiss and a packed lunch, her hurry back, cowpoke, masking the flicker of unease in her eyes. World needs your art, she'd say, but the empty bed when I returned spoke louder, her body curling into mine with a desperation that spoke of miles, not just physical. One such return, after a week in Phoenix hashing logos for a solar startup, I found her in the studio, my studio, poring over sketches I'd left half-finished. Dust motes swirled in the slanting light, her silhouette framed by the window like a painting unfinished. "Miss this," she admitted, holding up a rough of the ranch at dusk, horses still hoot against fiery sky. "Missed you more." The vulnerability cracked me open. I crossed the room, pulling her into an embrace that turned fervent, hands fumbling buttons, breaths mingling in the sacred space of creation. We christened the drafting table that afternoon, papers scattering like confetti, her moans harmonizing with the creak of wood. Afterward, tangled on the drop cloth, sweat slick and sated, she traced patterns on my thigh. What if we made it official? Not just us, but the world. A ceremony with vows and cake and all. Her words hung tentative, testing waters we'd navigated intuitively till now. I propped on elbow, studying her, the faint lines etching her laugh, the scar on her jaw a roadmap of resilience. "You mean marriage?" The word felt foreign yet fitting, a commitment beyond rings we'd already worn a year. She nodded, cheeks pinking under freckles. "Legal loud. Show and we're forever." Emotion swelled, a tide of yes crashing through me. God, yes. Let's do it. Planning ignited like dry tinder. Jake volunteered as best man, grumbling about tuxes, but secretly thrilled. Lena the vet as officiant, her dry wit perfect for toasts. We chose spring, wildflowers blooming as testament, the old chapel in Bisbee, adobe arches and stained glass filtering light like blessings. Invites went out modest. Family from my side, sister flying in, tentative but present, locals who'd become kin, a few design colleagues curious about the Cowgirl muse. But joy's underbelly stirred. My sister's arrival unearthed old fissures, her city polish clashing with our dust. Over dinner, wine loosening tongues, she cornered me in the kitchen. "Elena, this life. It's cute but sustainable? You're talented. Why bury it here?" Her concern stung. Echoing doubts I'd silenced. Riley, overhearing from a hall, stepped in smooth. "Barry? Nah, we're digging deeper. Art thrives in roots, not concrete." The deflection worked, but seeds of friction took hold. Worse came from unexpected quarter. A letter from Riley's estranged aunt, last blood tie on her ma's side, dripping disapproval. "Heard about your arrangement. Shame on the Kane name." Riley crumpled it unread, but I saw the flinch, the old wound of abandonment festering. That night, as rain pelted tin roof, she paced, boots thudding. "Why does love always come with strings?" Folks want to tie us down or cut us loose. I drew her to bed, hands soothing taut muscles, lips mapping tensions till they melted. Their strings ain't ours, I murmured, straddling her hips, our rhythm a defiant dance. We write the knot. She arched into me, fingers digging crescents into my back, release a roar against my neck. Dawn found us entwined, resolve renewed. We'd invite the ant anyway, force the mirror of acceptance. Spring unfolded verdant, our garden a riot of color. The wildflowers we'd planted nodding purple heads, bees humming hymns. Rehearsal dinner at the ranch buzzed, Jake grilling ribs, laughter rolling like thunder. My sister softened, sketching wildflowers with me, admitting, "You look
Happy.
really happy." The ant arrived stiff, pearls clutched like shields, but Riley's handshake, firm, unflinching, cracked the ice. Over pie, stories flowed, her ma's rebellious youth, parallels to ours. By evening's end, a tentative hug, tears unshed but shared. Wedding day dawned crystalline, sky vast as promise. I slipped into the dress, simple lace over silk, evoking desert bloom. In the studio, Lena fussing buttons while Riley waited blindfolded in the barn. Tradition twisted our way. Jake led her down the aisle of petal-strewn grass, hat swapped for a boutonniere, her gown a whisper of ivory chiffon over denim, boots peeking saucy. Our eyes met across the gathering, time suspending in that gaze, love, raw and radiant. Vows we wrote ourselves, mine. You pulled me from wreckage, show me home in your hands. I promise to hold yours through every storm. Hers, you colored my world, taught me love's not lone. I'll ride these trails with you always. Rings exchanged, simple gold bands engraved, desert bound. The kiss sealed it, deep, unhurried, cheers erupting like fireworks. The reception spilled into twilight. Fiddles wailing, cake cut with shared fork, dances under string lights. Jake's toast choked him up. To Riley, stubborn as sin, and Elena, the spark that lit her right. My sister raised glass next, voice thick. To sisters finding their way, yours just happens to be wilder. Even the ant stood, words halting but heartfelt. Family's what we choose. Welcome, child. Night deepened, guests departing in a haze of hugs, leaving us to the porch swing, stars winking approval. Riley's head on my shoulder, fingers tracing my ring. Mrs. and Mrs. Caneharper, she murmured, the title a melody. I tilted her chin, kissing slow, heat building unbidden. Lead me to bed, wife, I whispered, her laugh husky as she obliged, carrying me over threshold like a prize. Honeymoon was the ranch itself, no flights, just us, exploring hidden canyons on horseback, picnics in secret groves, nights of unrestrained passion under canopy of sky. One dawn, waking to her fingers sketching my spine, I realized marriage wasn't endpoint, but deepening, vows renewing daily in glances, touches, choices. Back to routine, bliss tempered by reality. My Phoenix gig extended, weeks away testing tethers. Calls nightly bridged gaps, her voice anchor. Hurry home, love. Bed's cold without you. Return brought reunions fiery, makeup sex a sacrament of longing. But strain showed, arguments over schedules, small but sharp, like, you chose the city again, slicing deep. Resolution came mid-fight, voices raised in kitchen, plates rattling. I need this, Riley. It's me growing, not leaving. She deflated, eyes wet. I know.
Just.
Scared you'll outgrow us. I crossed to her, hands framing face. Never. You're my horizon. We talked till stars rose, compromises forged, remote work more, trips together, balance as art. Summer swelled, heat mirroring passion's peak. Ember's colt, now gangly teen, took to me under saddle, Riley beaming pride. A gallery offer tempted, New York residency, 6 months, but I declined, countering local collab instead. Here, I told Riley, sealing with kiss. Our story unfolds here. Fall harvested abundance. Design sold. Ranch profits up from my marketing tweaks. Jake announced his own news. Courtship with Lena. Blushes all round. Thanksgiving feast overflowed. Tables groaning. Toasts to futures intertwined. Winter whispered contentment. Snow blanketing sins. New Year's. We renewed under oak. Just us. Snowflakes veiling vows. To us, we chorused. Kiss sealing eternity. Yet life's tapestry frays. A drought loomed, threatening herds. Stress etching Riley's brow. I rallied. Grants researched. Water systems sketched. Our partnership fortress. Through it, love deepened. Roots entwining unbreakable. One eve, storm breaking drought's grip, rain lashing grateful. We danced in mud, clothes shedding, bodies slick and joyous. Saved more than life. I gasped, her arms my world. Saved my soul. Her reply breath hot, and mine forever. The drought's shadow lifted slow, rain's bounty greening the valley into emerald promise, but it left scars, thinner herds, tighter budgets, Riley's shoulders bearing the brunt like an unseen yoke. I'd catch her at dawn, staring at ledgers by lamplight, coffee cold and untouched, the weight of legacy pressing. We got this, I'd murmur, sliding onto her lap, hands kneading knots till tension eased into sighs. Our lovemaking became ritual then, urgent, affirming, her body yielding under mine as if to remind us both. We were the steady rain after storm. Summer's zenith brought reprieve, a conservation grant I'd angled for, visuals swaying funders, injecting cash for irrigation lines. Jake hooped when notified, clapping my back hard enough to bruise. City smarts Avon, ranch asses, who knew? Riley's gratitude was quieter, profound. A weekend getaway to Sedona, Red Rock's vortexes said to realign souls. We hiked trails at dawn, her hand in mine, pausing at overlooks where canyons gaped like open hearts. Feel that? She asked, wind whipping her hair. The pull, like us, drawn, unbreakable. Nights in the cabin were symphony, fire crackling, her fingers strumming my skin like guitar strings, crescendos building to shared release that left us gasping, entwined. One twilight, soaking in the clawfoot tub, bubbles foaming, she traced my tattoo, a small saguaro inked post-wedding, symbol of endurance. Tell me why again, she prompted, lips brushing my shoulder. Because it stands alone but thrives, I replied, turning to straddle her, water sloshing. Like I did, till you. The kiss ignited, steam rising with our heat, her hands gripping hips as I rocked, waves lapping in time. After, drowsing against her chest, heartbeat drum under ear, I felt it. The vortex, realigning not just souls, but lives. Return invigorated, projects blooming. My Bisbee mural commission, walls transforming with murals of ranch life. Riley roping phantom calves, Ember mid-gallop, us still hoot and embrace. Locals gathered unveilings are rippling, the aunt attended, now regular, her proud of you girls, a balm to old hurts. My sister visited too, laptop in tow, collaborating on Urban Ranch Fusion line, apparel blending denim and chic, her apology woven in threads. But autumn winds carried whispers of unrest. Developers, rebuffed once, resurfaced with slicker pitch. Eco-resorts, they claimed, preserving while profiting. Town hall erupted, voices clashing. Riley testified fierce, anecdotes of heritage trumping dollars. I followed, slides projecting our story, visuals of drought's toll, blooms reborn. Votes swung our way again, victory sweeter for the fight. Exhaustion followed, a crash after adrenaline. Riley took ill, flu stubborn, fever spiking, confining her to bed, me nursemaid with broth and cool cloths. Vulnerability reversed, her, fragile under quilts, me tending with fierce devotion. Don't you dare leave me to this alone, she joked weakly, but eyes pleaded truth. I spooned beside her, whispering tales of our meeting, till sleep claimed her, my vigil a vow. Recovery brought clarity, life's fragility, love's fierceness. We adopted Sage's litter, 3 kittens tumbling chaos, naming them after seasons, furballs demanding play that dissolved tensions. Jake and Lena's wedding loomed, intimate affair at the chapel, us as maids of honor in boots and lace. Their vows echoed ours, toasts blurring tears and laughs, dancing after, Riley's hand warm at my waist, our turn to inspire. Winter wrapped gentle, holidays hearth-warm, my sister hosting fusion feast, turkey with tamales, gifts exchanged intimate, her a leather-bound sketchbook etched, our wild. Me, custom spurs for her rides, engraved, ride on love. New Year snowed us in, cabin fever turning playful, snowball fights devolving to tussles and drifts, red-cheeked and breathless, peeling wet layers by fire, bodies warming mutual. Spring cycled renewal, foaling season, new life slick and bawling, my gallery's solo show, canvases of us, intimate portraits, her gaze captured eternal. Opening night, Riley in subtle gown, arm linked proud, sails soaring but her presence the true prize. A collector approached post-show, offering residency, this time Sedona, collaborative. We weighed it together, maps spread, deciding yes 3 months, together, vortex calling. Preparations buzzed, sublet arrangements, Jake minding ranch with crew. Departure eve, porch swing creaking, stars canopy, we made love slow under blanket, her whispers temporaries only, hones you. Dawn's drive wound red roads, anticipation electric. Sedona unfolded magic, cabin perched cliffside, views swallowing breath. Days immersed, me painting landscapes infused emotion, her guiding tours for eco-group, evenings merging worlds, sketching her by fire, her reading poetry aloud, voices intertwining. Vortex hikes deepened bonds, meditations unveiling dreams unspoken, kids, perhaps, not blood but chosen. Expansions, art center on ranch, blending worlds. Intimacy peaked uninhibited, hikes ending tangled in clearings, her strength pinning me to earth, gasps echoing canyons, baths steaming with essential oils, fingers exploring lazy, building to quakes shared. One night, storm raging, thunder orgasms syncing with lightning, she confessed, never knew love this vast. I held her after. It's our canyon endless. Return heralded change, grant for center approved, blueprints sketched collaborative. Summer built foundations literal, crews hammering, us overseeing hand in hand. Jake's family grew, Lena pregnant, joy infectious. Our talks turned serious, fostering, perhaps, giving back. Fall harvested, center opening gala, town swelling pride. My designs featured nationally, bylines crediting with Riley Kane Harper. Winter cozied, holidays amplified, Sage's grandkids purring hearthside. Through cycles love seasons taught, growth in yielding, strength in vulnerability. The desert, once breakdown, now bedrock, our story, etched eternal. The art center's opening lingered like fine wine, toasts echoing into weeks as workshops filled, aspiring artists from Tucson, locals learning digital weaves with traditional motifs. Riley dove and unexpected, her rough sketches of horse anatomy charming classes, her drawl explaining shading like storytelling, round campfires. Didn't peg you for teacher, I teased one evening, locking up as sunset bled the adobe walls crimson. She slung arm, round waist, pulling close. Learnin' from the best. You make it look easy, darlin'. Our kiss ignited against the door, keys forgotten, her hands hiking my skirt with urgent need. Inside, on the new oak desk, polished symbol of our joint dream, we claimed victory carnal, her mouth hot trail down throat, fingers deft unbuttoning till gasps filled the space. This place, she panted, thrusting deep, ours, all ours. Release crashed mutual, echoes fading to sighs, bodies slick testament to passion undimmed. Autumn deepened, leaves turning the few trees to flame, but whispers of discord stirred. A new developer, sharper, backed by city brass, eyeing Centerland for cultural hub, code for condos with boutique twist. Rumors flew at feed store, Jake fuming over beers. They'll swallow us whole this time. Riley's jaw set granite, but I saw fear flicker. Not just land, but legacy, the fragile empire we'd built. We rallied fiercer. Petitions amplified, my graphics viral on social, her testimonials raw, heartfelt. Town hall showdown loomed, air thick tension. Night before, nerves frayed, we argued, me pushing aggressive media blitz, her cautioning backlash. Can't fight fire with napalm, Elena, she snapped, voice cracking. Hurt flared. I stormed a studio, door slamming echo. Hours later, she knocked soft, entering with tea steaming, eyes contrite. I'm scared, she admitted, perching on stool, vulnerability armor shed. Losing this. It'd unravel me. I crossed, kneeling between knees, hands on thighs. Then we weaved tighter, together. Forgiveness sealed in kiss gentle, evolving tender, her guiding my head lower, sighs soft as I worshipped, reclaiming unity in surrender. Hall day dawned stormy, clouds brooding. We arrived united, Riley's hand steady in mine. Presentations flew. There's glossy renders, our stories, voices of ranchers, artists, kids who'd found voice in classes. My slideshow culminated us. Before photo, my stalled car. After, wedding embrace. This land saved us. Don't let it become graveyard for dreams. Cheers erupted, vote unanimous rejection, hugs crushing as rain broke, cleansing. Euphoria followed, bonfire victory dance, fiddles wild, bodies pressed sweat slick. Jake toasted to warriors in skirts and Stetsons, laughter roaring. Home late, mud-caked, we bathed mutual, sponges gliding, touches lingering to moans, bed welcoming exhausted bliss. Winter's peace shattered unexpected, Lena's labor early complications, Jake pacing our kitchen at midnight call, face ashen. We sped hospital, holding vigil in sterile wait, Riley's prayers whispered fierce. Dawn brought boy, tiny, fierce, named Elias after their paw relief flooded, tears salting joy, Auntie's instant, me cradling him first, Riley's eyes soft wonder. Our turn soon, she murmured later, drive home silent contemplation. Spring bloomed fertile, Elias's baptism riverside, us godmothers honored, center thriving, scholarships funded fostering talents. My sister relocated partial, satellite office Bisbee, family dinners weekly, bonds mending generational. But personal storms brewed. Riley's twinges returned, doc diagnosing arthritis early. We're from years roping, writing. Manageable, she insisted, but I saw pain shadow smiles, nights massaging till fingers cramped. Let me carry some load, I urged, hiring help for heavy lifts. Resistance met persistence. Compromise, her teaching more, me field work less. Summer tested. Heat exacerbating joints, tempers short. One swelter eve, after Colt escaped fence I mended wrong, she lashed, "Can't you see it's hidden me?" Words cut deep, old insecurities surfacing. Am I enough? Stormed off trail ride solo, horse sensing turmoil, miles blurring tears. Found her at Overlook, hat brim low, dusk gilding profile. Dismounted, sat silent till she spoke. Didn't mean it. Pain makes me mean. I leaned head shoulder. And I push 'cause I love too hard. Forgive. Her kiss answered, salt tanged, hands gentle now, leading to blanket spread, love-making slow reverent. Her atop, controlling pace, my submission gift. Partners, she breathed after, stars witnesses. Fall healed, physical therapy routines, me joining yoga, Flexibility literal metaphorical. Center hosted wellness retreat. Us leading sessions blended. Art therapy with equine, vulnerability shared circles. Jake's help invaluable. Elias toddling visits. Chubby hands tugging skirts. Winter cozied recovery. Holidays with babe centerpiece. Gifts handmade. Tiny boots from Riley. Sketchbook chronicles for me. New Year's resolution. Balance. Articulated journaled. Checked weekly. Through adversity, love refined. Not flawless, but forged stronger. Every scar's story strengthening weave. One crisp morn, watching sunrise from porch. Coffee steaming shared. Riley squeezed hand. Wouldn't trade our wild for tame. I smiled, kissing knuckles. Ditto, cowgirl. Here's to more messes, more magic. Elias's second birthday dawned riotous. Ranch transformed piñata paradise. Balloons bobbing corrals. Cake smeared tiny faces. Jake's grill smoke-scented air. Riley chased him giggling, her limp barely noticeable post-therapy. Joy erasing lines. I captured moments camera, later sketching family portraits. Us aunts doting, Lena glowing maternal, the tapestry we'd woven vibrant. Post-party haze, cleanup communal, laughter echoing as suds flew sink-side. Evening quieted, us collapsing porch swing, sage-curled feet, kittens batting tails. Family, Riley sighed content, head my lap. Ours, built brick by heart. Fingers combed hair, peace profound, but undercurrent stirred. My 40th loomed next spring, milestone whispering legacies. Summer cycle heat, center buzzing. Youth camp I directed, kids from res and city blending, murals co-created exploding color. Riley mentored writing, her patience legend, one shy girl blooming under guidance, echoing my own arrival. Pride swelled watching, her impact, quiet revolution. But restlessness nipped. Sisters firm boomed. Offers tempting. Lead creative Chicago return. Calls late. Voices probing. Think about it, Elena. Legacy, big stage. Doubt crept. Nights tossing. Riley's arm anchor. Confessed on coffee. Wonder if I'm wasting here. Her eyes sharpened, hurt flashing. Wasting? This is life, real, rooted. Cities glitter, sure, but hollow without soul. Arguments simmered days, silences strained. Rides separate, sketches half-hearted. Culminated bluff overlook, words tumbling. I love hear you, but fear stagnation, dreams deferred. She paced, dust kicking. Then go. But don't drag us half in. Ultimatum stung, tears hot, drove town alone, gallery solace, pouring ink's canvas, abstract fury, desert storm souls clashing. Owner saw, pulled aside, raw power. Show it. National tour. Validation rush, but clarity followed. Stage mattered less than stage shared. Returned dusk, Riley at corral fence, silhouette forlorn. Stayed, I said simple, arms wrapping from behind. Because dreams biggest with you. Forgiveness wordless, kiss deepening, hands urgent, hayloft haven, bodies reconciling fervent, scratches healing scratches. Fall anchored. Tour declined, counter-local series, desert hearts, installations ranches round, us collaborating. Jake proposed expansion, eco-lodge on land, sustainable tourism. Plans sketched nights, excitement reigniting. Winter whispered expansions, holidays grand, Elias's wonder lights mirroring ours. New Year's, under snow-dusted oak, we buried time capsule, letters to future selves, rings replicas, seeds wildflower. For the us 10 years hence, Riley vowed, kiss ceiling. Spring my birthday, surprise low-key, center gala my honor. Walls alive my work, speeches toasting, visionary rooted. Riley's gift private, custom easel, engraved, paint our forever. Emotion choked, pulled her alcove, thanks murmured against skin, quick fumble turning gasp stifled, risk heightening thrill. Summer-built lodge. Crews hammering, us overseeing, designs integrating art, sculptures trails, murals lodges. Opening soft, guests first locals, feedback glowing. One eve, post-dinner, couple from East shared story. Theirs, strained till desert drew, renewed. Like you too, they said. Riley squeezed hand under table, eyes promising. But challenges layered. Illness struck aunt, us shuttling care, Riley's strength pillar, my art's funding hospital murals healing. Loss came gentle, funeral simple, her eulogy cracking voices. She chose love late, we choose early, daily. Grief bonded deeper, nights holding silent, tears shared salt. Fall harvested lodge success. Booking surged, economy boosting town. Center hosted retreats couples us facilitating, workshops vulnerability, equine trust. One session, sharing origins, tears flowed mutual, revelation. Our story blueprint others. Winter cozied loss, holidays bittersweet, Elias's chatter lightning. New Year's resolution, adventure, road trip California, sketching coasts, her surfing novice waves, laughter salty. Through love's depth plumbed, not static, but evolving, every layer richer. One autumn harvest, amid pumpkins carved, Riley knelt sudden, not proposal but question. Kids? Foster, adopt, make room? Heart swelled, nodded fervent, kiss ceiling. Our next wild chapter. The decision hung ripe as harvest moon, fostering paperwork labyrinth but commitment steel. Agency visits scrutinized, home study prying corners, us prepped stories united. Riley joked nerves over dinner. Think they'll approve cowgirl chaos? I squeezed knee under table. They'll see love's the constant. Approval came swift, profile matched. Teen girl, 16, runaway history, walls high as canyons. Jade arrived hesitant, duffel clutched, eyes skittish scanning ranch, horses nickering curiosity. This temporary, right? She muttered, chin defiant. Riley knelt level, voice steady. Home's what you make, stay as long's you want. First week's tentative, meals silent, rides reluctant. My sketches offered bridges. Draw what scares you. Cracks showed slow, laugh over burnt cookies, tear mid-nightmare soothed Riley's lap. Summer deepened bonds. Lodge guests interacted, Jade waitressing shy, tips building confidence. One trail ride, storm brewing sudden, she panicked horse bolting. Riley pursued calm, me trailing, rescue collective, her gratitude raw, hug first real. Thanks, moms. Word tentative, us melting, group embrace under clearing sky. But teens tempest, school started, rebellion flared, sneaking town, grades slipping, accusations flying. You don't get it. Perfect life. Fights echoed, doors slamming. Riley despaired porch. Pushin' too hard? I mediated art therapy, sessions unraveling trauma, absent folks, streets cold. Breakthrough came bonfire, truths spilled flames. Scared you'll send me back. Riley's arm, round shoulders. Family's forever choice, yours too. Tears cathartic, healing starting. Fall tested, Jade's first crush, boy from school. Awkward advice us fumbling, laughter diffusing. Holidays inclusive, her input menu, tree ornaments handcrafted. Thanksgiving, table full Jake's clan, Elias toddling, toasts inclusive to chosen paths. Winter challenged, agency check-ins probing, Jade's mood swings hormonal. One blizzard night, power out, we huddled candles, stories round hearth. Riley's rodeo scars, my Chicago chains, Jade's street survival. Vulnerability bonded, kittens purring laps, storm outside mirroring inner peace earned. Spring bloomed growth, Jade's art show school, Peace Us, 3 silhouettes horizon, titled Found. Pride swelled premiere, her blush under applause. Dates chaperoned, heart-to-heart post. Love scary, but good scary. Riley's wink my way. learned from best. Summer cycled independence. Driver's ed, her behind-wheel dusty roads, us white-knuckled passengers cheering. Lodge job full, savings sucked college dreams. One eve, post-shift, she confessed. Wanna stay permanent. Adoption fast-tracked, court date nerve-wracking, judge smiling, clear fit. Gavel fell, family official, hugs crushing courthouse steps. But expansion pains. Jade's teen angst peaked, curfews broken, groundings tense. Hate rules, she stormed, backpack slung runaway threat. Riley chased rain, finding her creekside sobbing. Rules 'cause we care. Hurt seeing you hurt. Return dawn, mediated circle, boundaries reset, love reaffirmed. Fall anchored. School counselor praised progress, us beaming conferences. Holidays grand, her first family photos, frames lining walls. Thanksgiving, she carved bird triumphant, toasts her turn. To homes that heal. Winter whispered futures. College apps, dreams veterinary like Lena. New Year's, capsule unearthed early surprise. Letters read aloud. Promises kept, new sealed with her addition. Through trials, love multiplied. Not divided, but expansive, embracing more souls. One spring planting, Jade beside, seeds in furrows, Riley and I flanking, she grinned, dirt smeared. Our wild's bigger now. Kissed cheeks both, hearts full, breakdowns gift endless. Years wove seamless, threads of family thickening, Jade's high school graduation capped us joy, us front row tear-streaked, her speech nodding anchors us. College-bound state U, veterinary track, dorm drops tearful but proud, empty nest pangs soften calls weekly, visits holidays raucous. Ranch evolved, lodge eco-hub, center cultural beacon, us matriarchs guiding. Jake's Elias, now lanky teen, apprenticed roping, mischief, mirrored uncles. Lena's second, girl fierce, ranch tomboy in training. My Art National, book deal, desert designs, chronicles illustrated hours, bestseller surprising. Tours brief, Riley joining key stops, her anecdotes charming crowds. One NYC reading, skyline glittering, she whispered ear. Still prefer our stars. Hotel night passionate reclaiming, city lights backdrop our rhythm eternal. Riley's arthritis managed herbs, therapy, rides gentler, but spirit unbroken, mentoring girls rodeo club, empowering mini MES. Ants passing gentle, legacy quilt pieced us, squares story sewn. Summer milestone, 10th anniversary, vow renewal canyon rim, Jade officiating college break, Jake best, families blended. Dresses echoed wedding lace, denim, vows updated. Through kids, losses, wins, still choose you. Rings nested originals, kiss sunset sealed, picnic starlit, love-making tent tender, her whispers aged like whiskey love. Fall harvested, Jade's internship ranch vet, skills shining, book launch party townwide, toasts overflowing. Winter cozied, holidays multi-gen, laughter layers deep. But life curved, diagnosis mine, early menopause, dreams bio-kids dashed quiet. Grief private walks, Riley joining silent, then talks tear-soaked. Our family's enough, Jade, legacies. Therapy couples, healing communal. Fostering again considered, but timing paused. Spring renewed. Adoption fair. Match siblings, boy 10, girl 8. History's hard but eyes hopeful. Placement trial nerve-wracking, chaos charming. Mud Pie's kitchen, bedtime battles. Names chosen joint, Milo, Luna, permanency pursued patient. Summer integrated. Lodge kid camps, them thriving activities, bonds forming organic. Jade summered home. Big sis roll natural. Braids taught, stories shared. Fall challenged. Milo's acting out school, Luna's nightmares. Counseling family, us learning listen over fix. Riley's patience legend. My art channeling, murals their rooms, colors coping. Winter bonded, holidays magic eyes wide, Santa myths embraced. New Year's, kids asleep, a swing porch, champagne fizzing, expanded beautifully. Kiss deepened, hands wandering, quiet heat porch shadows. Through love's capacity endless, stretching embrace wider, deeper. One dawn, watching Milo rope first loop true, Luna sketch horse earnest, Jade video calling triumphs, Elias galloping free, Riley's hand mine, broke down led here, richest wild. Gratitude swelled, kiss temple, saved more, all this.